if they ever find a dead bird or if we capture them later on, we know who they are and who their parents are and everything.
4 chicks were given their identification bands at the Department of Agriculture this week. The 30-day-old KOKO birds are being raised for later release into the wild or to support the breeding population here on Guam.
We have 30 days that the chick stays with its parents, learn rail behavior, learn how to feed, what the food looks like, how to forage for it, if they have any geckos or other lizards that wander in, what to do about that, just in case they're ever released in the wild. And then at 30 days we pull them, put a band on them that lets us know who they are in the future. And then take their weights, just in case anything happens to them later on, we know what they started at, and then they're placed in their own individual cage.
Laura Duenas is a wildlife biologist at the Department of Agriculture and oversees the breeding population of the Guam rail, also known as the KOKO bird. She says it's a rare occasion to see 4 chicks survive to their day of independence.
Normally we have 1 to 2, sometimes 3 chicks that we pull from a cage, but to have 4 all together, they usually lay 1 to 4 eggs. So this means every single egg was fertile and every single one hatched and made it to their 30-day mark.
Now that these 4 chicks are in their own cages, Duenas says they will be monitored for a year before it's determined whether the KOKO birds will be put into the wild or kept at the Department of Agriculture for breeding purposes.
We just keep an eye on them. The best indicator whether or not something is or isn't wrong with them is if they touch their food or not. And so as long as we feed them, we feed them every day, as long as we make sure they finish their diets, that's all that matters for now.
Endemic and unique to Guam, no KOKO birds have been known to be living in the wilds here since the 1980s. Chicks raised at the Department of Agriculture have been released to Rota and to Cocos Island, and Duenas hopes Guam will be able to support a wild population of KOKO birds again sometime in the future. But a number of things have to happen first.
What we need to do is find a way to, if not eradicate, at least control the brown tree snake population. Although I've seen some of the birds, maybe a smaller snake will get in and they're able to handle themselves against those. But I mean, to have bigger snakes, I know that would definitely be a problem for our rails. Also, stray cats and dogs, we have big problems with them. I know they go after the chickens that we see around here. I can't imagine what they would do if they actually get into and catch a rail.
The Department of Agriculture currently has 117 KOKO birds. 6 are tamed birds currently being used for educational purposes. 3 are over the age of 10 and have been retired. And the rest are for breeding or later release into the wild. Betsy Brown, PNC News.